Hello students, grade 10 class. Welcome to our first online video. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through your exam papers, kind of like going through the questions and the answers, and what you need to do is take note of the corrections that you may need to do on some of your papers. Now I'm not going to release the grades just yet. For the privacy of all the students, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the questions first. Later on we will release the grades for each student. Well, it's all really dependent on how everything plays out with our country right now, with the whole restriction movement order. If everything settles down and we're able to have physical classes again, that would be great. But if not, then we'll continue to do these online video classes. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me, send me a message, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you out. So let's jump right into it. I'm looking at your exam papers that you did for business, and a lot of you actually did pretty well, which is good. I saw a lot of good answers, good grades. Some of you not so well, but this is an opportunity for you to revise where you've gone wrong, to perfect your work, to set a more solid foundation for yourself, especially with exams coming up next year, right? Now, it's important that you take note of all these things. There are a couple of key points I did notice when going through your papers, and this is that for some of you, you don't use the business terms or the business concepts. If you don't use those terms, those keywords, then you're going to lose marks, because the examiners will want to see those specific terms being used. So you got to be very careful with that. Don't just make up your own answers, don't just use logic. That's not how it works. You got to use business theory. Okay, so let's jump in and look at the first question. Okay, we have first question being, what is meant by market research? Okay, and this is what it says. Okay, market research is collection of data about consumer needs and wants. It needs to include that main point there. Collection of data to identify consumer needs and wants. Those two things need to be included if you want to get your marks. All right, so those are like the key terms. Okay, so consumer needs and wants. The second question is, identify two possible objectives Made Fresh could have. Okay, so there are many various objectives that a business could have, but they are very specific though. Okay, we have, for example, survival, growth, increased market share, increasing sales, revenue, profits, right? These are all legitimate answers. They are found inside your business textbook. So you got to use these kind of answers, okay? So again, growth, survival, increasing market share, profit, right? Increasing sales, increasing revenue. Okay, the next one, identify and explain two advantages to a business of branding. Now, there are various reasons why branding is important and how it can be advantageous to your business, and these are some of the main points here. Branding helps you to differentiate between one product and another product. Okay, so it helps you to differentiate your product to competitor products. It's a way for you to ensure brand loyalty. Consumers will want to keep buying from the same business because they are loyal to the brand. Okay, it's a way to attract potential customers. It is a means of achieving a competitive advantage. Branding gives you an advantage over non-branded products. Okay, you're able to charge higher prices because the high price is associated with the brand. There is brand image. It increases added value for the product. and it is easier to introduce new products to the market when you have a brand, right? Next question. Identify and explain 3 possible problems Made Fresh might face if they have to import organic ingredients for the foods they manufacture. So there are a couple of main points here. A lot of you wrote down stuff about government rules and restrictions or laws. That's good. Some of you wrote down about the freshness of the product. That's good as well. Okay, see, these are some of the main points you have to look at. Government rules and regulations differ from country to country, so they may have restrictions on the kinds of goods they can import into the country, or there may be quotas that they have to deal with. There may be tariffs. Okay, tariffs is another word for tax. It's the same thing, right? Tariffs and tax, but we use the word tariffs. Okay, there may be language problems, communication issues with the foreign country, the transportation cost, the transportation time. Okay, and since they are transporting organic ingredients, we are looking at time being a factor here. If you are transporting something like food, they are usually perishable, which means that they can expire, and time is a factor. Okay, delay on delivery. If there's a delay on delivery, it affects the freshness of the product, it affects the quality of the product. Okay, yeah, that's about it. Okay, let's look at the next one. The government in country J wants to encourage international trade. Do you think this would be an advantage to Made Fresh? So encouraging international trade, you have to look at the advantages and disadvantages. There are 2 things to look at. For advantages, we're looking at them having access to more materials from other countries that they don't have in the home country. It's access to new markets. It increases potential sales for your business. It means your business can become an international business, international profile. Here you can have sales selling to larger markets, increases your market share. Okay, increasing demand for products, and the government may give grants or incentives, right, for businesses to become international. But disadvantage would be basically, now that your market share increases as well, it also increases the opportunity for competition. So competition will increase as well. There's also the cost, right? Transportation cost. There may be cost of marketing. There may be some disadvantages in terms of rules and regulations with other countries. So you may have quotas, tariffs that you have to pay if you want to export your product to another country. So there are 2 things that you need to consider. Some of you missed out on this part. Okay, looking at the next one, we're looking at what is meant by batch production. It's quite straightforward. It is the production of goods in groups. Use the word groups. Okay, groups helps identify batch production. Quite simple. It's just a 2-point question. Identify 2 ways of measuring the size of a company. Very specific question. You can find this in your textbook. The answers are through revenue or sales. Same thing, right? Capital employed, number of employees, market share. Okay, and then that's about it. Okay, we do not use profit as a measure of size. We never use profit to measure size. Okay, I think we missed out something. Yeah, output. So in total 5 items, right? Output, value of sales or revenue, capital employed, number of employees, and market share. So 5 things. Okay, next one. Identify and explain 2 benefits of lean production for business. So lean production is basically to reduce waste. Okay, so the main advantage is obviously reducing in wastage. So reduce waste, leading to improved efficiency. By reducing waste, you also reduce your cost. Okay, you reduce your stocks, because lean production basically means you manufacture only once orders are placed. Okay, a simple example would be like a sushi bar where the fish is fresh. You don't kill the fish until someone places an order. So if no one places an order, you don't have to bear the cost of killing the fish. Okay, so simple example like that, lean production. So 2 benefits: reduction in waste reduce stocks, reduce stock cost, or rather storage cost, reduce waste, reducing the cost of waste. Okay. The next one, identify and explain 3 advantages to the management of Bray Electrics of introducing new technology in the business. You can improve quality of the production. You can improve the productivity, increasing the output. You can reduce mistakes. You can reduce your labor cost because you're investing into machinery. You don't need to spend as much on workers. You may make some workers redundant, right? Production is faster. Machines can handle more complex work. It improves stock control, improves communication, if you're referring to communication as the technology that you're investing into. Basically, the main point here is improvement in quality, production output, in reduction of mistakes, and of course, reduction in labor costs. These are the main things that you have to consider. Okay, the next one, managing director believes our workers like change. Do you think that all the workers at Bray Electrics will like the introduction of new technology? So this is a trick question. You got to consider the pros and the cons. Now you got to look at 2 things. The first one is, if you have introduction of technology based off business theory, it can be motivational to staff. It helps them improve the quality of their work, if it helps them to produce their work a lot faster and easier. Also, if you have to send your staff for training, that's motivation for the worker, right? But the disadvantage is obviously the fear of job security, right? So there may be a lack of job security, in the sense that the worker may be replaced by a machine, okay, maybe made redundant. So that's demotivational. Also, the work can become repetitive if they are still working for the company, but now the machine does majority of the work. Okay, it has to be a combination of 2 things. Let's look at the next one. What is meant by public limited company? Okay, a public limited company is a company that sells shares, right, to the general public, and is also a company that has limited liability. Those 2 things you need to have in this answer: limited liability and can sell shares to the general public. Okay, next one, calculate the ROCE for 2012. Okay, some of you got this wrong. It's very simple. You just need to follow the formula. The formula is operating profit divided by capital employed times 100%, and you'll get the answer. It's a very simple formula. You shouldn't get this wrong. Okay, the answer here is supposed to be 15%. You'll be able to see it once you get your papers back. Okay. Identify and explain 2 reasons why shareholders might be interested in the accounts of HDB. Now you've got to look at the perspective of a shareholder. Why would a shareholder want to look at the accounts? They want to look at the accounts because they want to see how well the company has performed. They want to see whether they've received good dividends. They want to see whether, if they are a potential investor, will they want to invest into this company? Whether they want to remove their sell their shares and remove their investment from the company. They want to compare with other company accounts so they can decide where they want to invest. That's what the investors are looking at. That's what shareholders are looking at. Okay. If you have more questions about that, you can ask. Okay, next one. Identify and explain 3 factors that HDB should consider before issuing more shares. The first thing you have to consider is, just because you issue shares doesn't mean people are going to buy shares. So you got to look at how well your market is doing and whether the business is doing well enough that people want to buy shares from the company. So the anticipated impact on the share price, anticipated impact of people wanting to buy your shares. The other thing you have to consider is that if you're selling shares, that leaves your business open to the risk of takeover. Okay, so that's one other thing. Do not write about the fear of the business not able to pay the shareholders dividends. That's not their concern at all, because dividends only come if the business is profitable. So if the business is not profitable, then they don't pay any dividends. So you never have to pay back shares to your shareholders. You only give them dividends, and only if the business is profitable. So it's not something the business should be concerned about, okay, theoretically. Another thing you can write down is, do they have any other forms of finance that you can use? You don't need to sell shares. You could take a loan, you could take an overdraft, you could sell assets, you could use retained profit. There are other things that you can do besides selling shares. So that's something you have to consider as well. Do you think the product is most important element of the marketing mix? So this is again a trick question. I've talked about this before in the class. If you're talking about the marketing mix, it has to be a combination of all 4 P's. The 4 P's are product, price, place, promotion. All 4 of them combined together will help you to have a successful product and sales for the product. So if you wrote down that yes, product is the most important, it's automatically wrong. Okay, because that's not the point here. The point here is that you need a combination of all 4 P's. Okay, next one, what is meant by organizational structure? Okay, it is the number of levels in of management and division of responsibility, or the authority within a business, or rather you can write down that it represents the levels of authority in the business and through which authority is passed through those levels. Okay, what is the chain of command? It is a structure in the organization through which orders are passed through from one level to the next level of the hierarchy. Some of you wrote slightly different answers to this. As long as it's similar or it covers the main point of passing information through from level to level, you still get your marks. Okay, next one. Identify and explain 2 possible disadvantages for a business of having a wide span of control. Okay, a wide span of control means you have many people under one supervisor or one manager. So the disadvantage is difficult to control, communication problems, workers may not have enough skills to cope with extra responsibilities, supervisors may not have the right skill to manage so many people, and therefore can lead to a fall in productivity. Okay, it's quite straightforward stuff. Okay, the last 2 questions. Identify and explain 3 reasons why effective communication within a business is important to the management. So effective communication means that you have efficiency, you have feedback, right? So these are some of the main points. You improve efficiency, workers feel involved, so it leads to motivation. Ensuring the right orders are passed through, less mistakes. Avoids miscommunication, avoids confusion, avoids duplication of work, less mistakes. Okay, so these are some of the main points. The last question, the management of coal brokers think that the disadvantages of e-commerce are greater than the advantages to their business. Do you agree? So this is a trick question. You got to have a full analysis of disadvantages and advantages. Disadvantages being you have vulnerability to attacks, security issues, viruses, especially if we're talking about e-commerce, right? Government restrictions and laws for e-commerce. You have a loss of personal contact, kind of like what we're having right now. You're watching a video. The same way with e-commerce, you're buying a product without actually touching it, without actually talking to someone about it. Okay, the need for system support, and the threat of increased competition. The moment you go into e-commerce, there are many more competitors that are out there. Okay, but the advantage is access to new markets. It increases your market share, it increases your sales, it increases the possibility for cost savings. E-commerce is cheaper than opening up physical outlets in multiple locations. You have less in terms of labor costs, in terms of physical building costs and rentals. There's also an opportunity for you to sell 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So this increases your market share, increases the opportunity for you to gain additional revenue and profits, right? So that's it. That's basically the entire paper right there. Now, what I'm gonna want you to do is look through, or rather you could go through the video again and see where are some of the points that you may have had some difficulty with, and communicate with me. Let me know if there's something that you need some assistance with, whether you need further clarification, or you don't quite understand it. I'll do my very best to help you. Now, I need you guys to do some revision. Okay, revise from your textbook. Okay, basically the entire textbook. Okay, go through each section and look through certain points that you are having or which you may have some doubts in, or you don't feel you're entirely confident in, and let me know so I can help you out. Okay, at the next video I'm gonna bring out some points, and probably we'll have some activities that we can work on. I will probably go through some revision from the textbook. Maybe we will take section by section, and so you guys have some revision at home. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, take care, stay safe, bye bye.